Hi, in this video I'm going to show you guys how to build the train body. If you look at here's the image of the train right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to build this shape right here, and I'm going to then extrude this back. So first things I notice is I see there's a rectangle and a circle. So I think if I build a rectangle and the circle and then trim this piece out, I will have the shape that I want. So if I look at the rectangle has a dimension of 2, and over here it has a dimension of 0.875. So I'm going to go ahead and build that rectangle first with a sketch. So I'm going to hit new, I'm going to do a standard part, I'm going to create a sketch, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make my rectangle. So my rectangle was 2 by 0.875. Alright, so there's my rectangle. Now I'm going to go ahead and create a circle, and the circle was centered up, so I'm going to have this little dotted line right here, and I'm going to go over and look at my dimension for my circle. And if you look at the dimension for the circle, it says a radius 0.75 because it's really only an arc. So I wanted a dimension of 1.5, a diameter of 1.5. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this, and I'm going to dimension it and make it 1.5, and that gives me the right size circle that I need. But the problem is I need to place the location of the center circle. If you see the center of the circle, if you follow the mark over here, it comes to 1.375. So from the bottom of the train to the center of that circle is 1.375, or the center of that arc technically. So I'm going to go ahead and dimension that from the bottom here and make that 1.375 the way it said. And we should be all centered up and ready to go. If you want to be safe to make sure that this is locked on the middle, we can always click here and here and come down and make sure it's 1, and then check it off, and that locks it in. So now I got my circle and my rectangle. I'm just going to come up here and hit trim. I'm going to trim out the bottom of the circle, trim the front of the rectangle, and there is my sketch that I need to extrude. So I want to extrude this back. Well, what's the distance I want to extrude it back? Well, I want to extrude it from here to the edge of this piece right here. So I need to figure out how long that is. Well, the total length of the train is 5.5. And then from the back of the train to the cabin is 1 inch. So I need it to be 4.5 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and extrude, and I'm going to click my region, and then I'm going to change it to 4.5 inches. Okay, and so far we have the front of that train. Okay, now for the back part of the train, I want to take a look at my image again, and here it is right here. And you can see it's rectangular in structure coming out here, but there's this arc. And I think if we go down to the next page, you get a little better information on the arc right here. So we know that this is the full width of the rectangle, but how high is this whole thing is our problem that we got to figure out. Well, the way you can tell is if you see this point where this hitch is going to be, it's actually an arc up here, and it says it's a radius of 2.35 starting at this point right here. And that point is 0.375 up and 1 inch in, or centered in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make a sketch right here. I'm going to flip this over. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take a line up here. Oops, I didn't want to do that. Sorry about that. I'm going to go ahead and extend my line up from this point up. You know, we can trim stuff off, it's not a problem. Do the same on the other side. And then I'm going to go ahead and drop a point down right here, and it should be centered up. And the height of that point we said was 0.375. So I'm going to go ahead and dimension from here to here. And that guy is 0.375 in height. And he's already centered. I centered him, but if you want to again verify it's centered, we can click from here to here and make sure it's 1 inch. And there we go. So I have my point now. So I can now do an arc. And we have 3 different types of arcs that we can do. We can do an arc with a center point, we can do an arc tangent, and our 3-point arc. I'm going to use the center point arc right here. And I'm going to click on this point right here, and I'm going to go ahead, and the radius of the arc was 2.35. So I'm going to type in 2.35, and then I'm going to go ahead and sweep my arc like that. So I now have the arc that I need, the height that I need, so these lines aren't long enough, are they? So I probably could have just went ahead and did the arc first, but no big deal. I'm just going to extend the lines up to the top, and then I'm going to go ahead and trim the sides off. So it probably would have been easier if I would have built the arc first and then extended the sides up to it. All right, so now I have the back cabin for my train that's ready to go. Okay, actually looking at this, something doesn't look right on this arc. It looks really tall to me compared to the drawing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dimension this arc right here, and it's at 3, so clearly I didn't get my 2.35 typed in there. So I'm going to change this to 2.35, check it off, and it brings it down for me. All right, now I'm ready to roll. So I can go ahead and finish my sketch here, and then I'm going to go ahead and extrude this region and the other region down here, that region, both of them together, and I want to extrude those 1 inch because that's how much further back that cabin was. And there is my cabin for my train. Okay, so again, I'm looking at this train, and I am a total bonehead here. And this is okay, and this is why, when you look at it, something doesn't look right. Look how skinny my cabin is and how long the body of the train is. So I come back over here and I look at my train, and I realize I read this wrong. It was the wheel hole, the hole that was 1 inch. It's actually the cabin that's 1.75 inches. So this length here that we did as 4.5 inches is too long. I need to take another 0.75 inches off of that. And then this length is too short. The should be 1.75. So I'm going to come back in. It's easy to fix these things, right? So I'm going to start with the first extrusion. I'm going to double click on it. Remember I made it 4.5. So if your math isn't very good, it was 5.5 and we subtract off 1.75. And there's the length. I've now made the front of the train the right length. And then I can click on extrusion 2, and we said it was supposed to be 1.75, and I just changed it to 1.75. And hit OK. Now there we have the right size for the train body. So this is how you build the train body, including with my silly mistakes. And in the next video, I'll show you how to place the holes and to drill the hole out right here.